the pandemic and the lockdowns have exposed the fallacy of the notion that we can run a global economy on a just-in-time basis while shipping goods from low-cost economies vast distances to high-cost consumer markets. If a factory in the US relies on parts from Vietnam, Malaysia, China, and Mexico, all to come together in the US for assembly, that means every one of those countries needs to be operating efficiently at the same time, and transit needs to be totally efficient so all that can come together in one place. Well, we saw with COVID, we saw these rolling lockdowns that affected different countries in different ways at different times. Then we have on top of that shipping bottlenecks, and what we got and what we still have is this cascade of supply interruptions. That's part of what we're seeing here, the havoc in the global supply chain. I mean, it is still the case. I've seen it myself within the past week. There are parking lots full of partially completed vehicles that are just sitting there waiting for final parts to arrive so they can complete the assembly and ship these goods to market. And right now there doesn't appear to be any end in sight, at least not in the short term. So I think what that's going to drive, it may touch a little bit on one of the points Thierry made about convergence or non-convergence of developed economies and less developed economies. I think we're going to see a very strong movement toward relocating supply to closer to the end markets. And even though in the recent past, the end markets may have been deemed as, well, it's too expensive to produce there. I think the risks associated with doing the way we have been doing it are too great that in the long run, the costs are actually lower. And I think we saw a very strong indication of that movement with the recent announcement by Intel that they're going to be putting a massive investment into the Columbus, Ohio area for new fabs there for chips. I mean, that's a tremendous announcement. I think it's just the very start of it. And I think for the industrial gases industry, this movement is going to do wonders for the industrial gases businesses in the major developed economies who have seen their manufacturing base erode over the past 20 or 30 years. I think it's going to lead to a boom for the industrial gases industry as this really takes off. So that is terrific news for industrial gases in the developed economies.